Putin's top minister Lavrov is in India and is speaking right now. He's already met with the Minister of External Affairs. Listen in.
Because, as I say, they pay us in their currency and then they arrest our accounts. It's like gold fever in the United States at some point when the country was created by those who fled from Europe because they were wanted by law, as far as I recall. So the scheme which has been presented is an honest scheme. It allows us to get the payment eventually in rubles, and that was the original goal. As for the, what was the second question?
Do you think that India has not taken a hawkish stand against Russia despite the pressure from the Western capitals because of its dependence on the discounted crude oil and also the import of S-400 missiles or Kalashnikovs?
You know, I cannot even imagine that India is taking some stance because India is under pressure. We respect, as I said earlier, the Indian concentration on its basic principles, namely that Indian foreign policy is built upon legitimate national interests of this country, of this state, and of these people. And that's basically all which I can say in response to your question.
Евгений Пахомов, ТАСС. Скажите, сейчас появились в Индии много говорят о том, и не только в Индии, что India может
a lot of people talking in India that India can be mediate between Moscow and Kiev, and is there a possibility that Mr. Modi can become a mediator between Moscow and Kiev, and how much of this is possible? I have not heard about such talks, frankly speaking, and the position of India, which is not under any influence of the US dictates, and it seeks respect, and India is an important and serious country, and it is not and if India sees that to play that role which provides resolution of the problem, then problem in this present condition, and to provide equality and security, and follow the principle of justice, and India as our common partner. We are for the security guarantee being offered by Ukraine, and which have participated over the years in that no country will have security issues, and when West has ignored its responsibilities and has forced Russia into this straight threat, ideological and military, and if India is with its position of just and rational and a rational approach towards international problems, then it can support such process, and then no one is against it, I think.
Сергей Викторович, здравствуйте, Иван Озеров, Первый канал. Уже не первую неделю приходят сообщения со всего мира о том, что Саховская Украина захлестывает буквально целые районы, кварталы, и люди страдают от того, что называют просто...
Well, as Ukraine-Russia war rages on, Russian President Vladimir Putin's top aide is in India for talks. Just heard from him. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov has met External Affairs Minister Jaishankar already amid the ongoing military conflict between Russia and Ukraine. He said that strategic partnership with India is key priority for Russian foreign policy. Russia has also appreciated India's neutral stand in the ongoing war. In his opening remarks, he said the West would look to reduce meaningful international issues to the Ukraine crisis. As Jaishankar said that India has always been in favor of resolving disputes through diplomacy. India has so far maintained a neutral position asking both sides to resolve the dispute through dialogue. Lavrov is expected also to meet Prime Minister Modi today. The talks are most likely to going to be focusing on the global geopolitical situation in the wake of the conflict.
Our Western colleagues would like to reduce any meaningful international issue to the crisis in Ukraine. You know our position. We do not hide anything, and we appreciate that India is taking this situation in the entirety of facts, not just in a one-sided way.
Our bilateral relations has continued to grow in many areas, and we have diversified our cooperation by expanding our agenda. Excellency, our meeting today takes place in a difficult international environment, quite apart from the pandemic. India, as you are aware, has always been in favor of resolving differences and disputes through dialogue and diplomacy. In our meeting today, we will have an opportunity to discuss contemporary issues and concerns in some detail. I look forward to our discussions.
Rajesh Pawar is joining us from Kyiv for more details on that story. Also, we'll be joined by Tatiana Kukareva, is the deputy head of Sputnik News. First to you, Rajesh, I'm going to come to you about an update on the ground situation, but your views on this important meeting today and the manner in which the relationship of India with Russia and India's independence vis-a-vis the Ukraine conflict has been underscored by Putin's top aide in India, who is also all set to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Look, Sneha, I think the biggest strength India has right now is our neutrality. And that is the reason we are seeing flurry of visits from Western leaders, as well as now currently Russian foreign minister in India. So our neutrality remains our big strength. And let me tell you, with regards to this meeting, that this is a more of an economic war right now between West and Russia, and both the sides, Russia and West, knows that till the time they have the support of China and India, none of the sides can win this war without this support. And that is the reason we are seeing this flurry of activities, diplomatic activities between West and India and between West and China and also Russia. Over to you, Sneha.
Be with us, Rajesh. I'm just going to come back to you for more on that to get an idea of the situation right now in the capital city of Kyiv. But before that, Tatiana Kukareva, thank you so much for your time. How do you view the developments today? Like Rajesh was telling us, India's neutrality seems to have emerged as its strength right now. Putin's top minister is in India, is all set to meet the Prime Minister as well. And both the countries using this as an opportunity to underscore the manner in which for the last close to 40 days, India has been neutral. At the same time, spoken about the fact that diplomacy and resolution through diplomatic conversations is really the need of the hour.
Well, I completely agree with you and with your correspondent on the fact that India's position is, it's not only its great strength, it's exactly what our foreign minister has underscored repeatedly today, just giving praises to India for not, for taking its own stance, because so many countries right now are not. And, within the current climate and with the media campaign that has been one of the ugliest that I've seen in years, India's position, its self-sufficientness and its ability to take its own decisions and not have its politics dictated to it. It is actually quite amazing, very suitable for a country of such, of such strength and such size as well, and truly admirable, which is exactly what Foreign Minister Lavrov has underscored today.
Okay. Yes, be with us. I'll just come back to you for more on that, Rajesh. Also, a quick update on the situation on the ground, the capital city of Kyiv, that continues to essentially limp back to normalcy, whatever is left of it.
Yes, Sneha, Kyiv has been quite normal in last 48 hours. No shelling here, no bombing, no missiles Even the fighting in the outskirts, which was a nearby town of Irpin, has ceased more or less because the town is now completely under Ukrainian control, and Russian forces have moved back, and it has been confirmed by the spokesperson of Ukrainian military that Russian forces has pulled back from the outskirts of Kyiv. Heavy equipment have been removed from there, and it has been reported by American intelligence as well that 700 trucks were seen leaving north of Kyiv towards Belarus recently. So situation is coming back to a little bit normal here. Supermarkets are again opening up, cafes and restaurants are opening up, and the supplies are beefing up everywhere. I mean, there's no scarcity of goods anymore in Kyiv now. Sneha.
Yes. Also, Tatiana, you spoke about the fact that India has, of course, continued to maintain a position, saying that a neutral position and not, in a way, getting swayed by the West. But, to talk about the war that has been unleashed by Russia on Ukraine, one can't really turn away from the brutality of it. The manner in which civilians have been killed, residential areas have been bombed. That is not something that anybody can really turn away from, isn't it?
I quite disagree with you because, again, that manner that you're talking about, this is exactly part of the narrative that the West has been imposing on the whole world. And this narrative is coming from, obviously it's coming from Kiev and it's coming from its American teachers. The conflict that has erupted in the end of February, it erupted, and if we talk about the manner that, as you put it, in which, civilians are being targeted, they're not being targeted, first of all. Second of all, if you take a look, away from emotion, away from the very, and obviously, as a journalist, you know that it's very easy to paint a very gloomy picture. But if you compare it to any other military conflict, you'll see that the numbers are nowhere near anything that at least I've seen in the last 10 years, first of all. Second of all, we have to, again, remain a little bit more balanced here in terms of, the brutality of the war. It could have been, first of all, it's not, I'm not going to call it a war because it could have been one, and there could have been so many more deaths if that were the goal here. Again and again and again, Russia has done its absolute best at protecting civilian population of Ukraine. You know exactly how it could have gone, and the numbers would have been very different. And in terms of even the numbers that are being put forward by Kiev, unfortunately, they cannot be verified in any way, shape or form. And there is not even factual evidence to that.
Okay.
We do see the bombed buildings, but where are, again and again, I'm going to ask the same question. There is no armed conflict that I've seen in the past 10 years where there were literally close to no images of dead bodies, and then you say there are hundreds. Where are they?
All right, we'll continue our conversations about that in a bit from now. Meanwhile, as the top Russian minister has met his Indian counterpart in New Delhi, US's coercion tactic has triggered an outrage in India as well. US Deputy NSA has cautioned India over trade with Russia. On his visit to India, Deputy NSA Dalip Singh said there will be consequences for any country, including India, that conducts local currency transactions through Russia's central bank, subverting the sanctions US has put on Russia. On Thursday, India defended the decision to look for good deals for the energy requirements. India has even pinpointed that Europe has been a major buyer of Russian oil even after the invasion began.
Different countries are going to have their own relationship with the Russian Federation. It's a fact of history, it's a fact of geography. That is not something that we are seeking to change. What we are seeking to do, whether it is in the context of India or other partners and allies around the world, is to do all we can to see to it that the international community is speaking in unison, speaking loudly against this unjustified, unprovoked, premeditated aggression calling for an end to the violence, using the leverage that countries, including India, have to those ends.
That we respect other countries' decisions about the issues that they face. India is a sovereign nation. I'm not going to tell India what to do. What I've said is, as a member of the UK government that has signed up to the Budapest Memorandum, I feel a strong responsibility on behalf of the United Kingdom to take all the action we can to support the people of Ukraine. But that is not the same as going around telling other countries what to do.
What looks almost like a campaign on this issue. Now, I was just reading a report today that in the month of March, Europe has bought, I think, 15% more oil and gas from Russia than it did the month before. If you look at the major buyers of oil and gas from Russia, I think you'd find most of them are in Europe. We ourselves get the bulk of our energy supplies from the Middle East, about 7.5%, 8% of our oil from the US. In the past, maybe less than 1% from Russia. When oil prices go up, I think it's natural for countries to go out into the market and look for what are good deals for their people. But I am pretty sure if we wait 2 or 3 months and actually look at who are the big buyers of Russian gas and oil, I suspect the list won't be very different from what it used to be, and I suspect we won't be in the top 10 on that list.
When the oil prices have gone up, India does not really, the Ukraine-Russia crisis or the West and the Russia confrontation, India doesn't have a role to play there, right? I mean, it's not because of us or our diplomatic failures or oversight that this kind of a situation has embarked upon the world. So it's very natural for the prices to, when the prices go up, it's natural for countries to go out in the market and look for better deals, right? So that's what we are doing. And as far as Russia coming and standing up for us in case there is an LAC incursion, so when there was a 2020 incursion, I don't think any country, even US, came and stood by India, let alone Russia. So these are, I would say, in my opinion, Russia tactics, because you see, US and these do not stand any technical ground, because the sanctions that are imposed by the US on Russia are the moderate category, where US has not stopped its allies and partners from buying oil from Russia.
Rajesh continues to be with us. Rajesh, also the manner in which America has been in a way arm twisting India, really coercing us and threatening us with consequences, also highlights the hypocrisy of the of America in a way, pretty much picking on us for the neutral position that we have taken. India has made it extremely clear time and again that India's own interests first, isn't it?
Absolutely, Sneha. And this is not the first time Americans or the West is doing this to India. They have been used to doing it. They have been doing it always. And it is high time that United States starts speaking different to India and stop using this kind of threatening language, like there'll be consequences, because United States needs India as much in today's geopolitical scenario as much India needs them. And it is the same case with Russia. So it's high time they stop using this kind of language with India, threatening language. And let me tell you, they have tried to pressurize Europe so much from not buying gas and oil, but they have been doing it because America could not do it, and telling India to stop doing it when the oil price is so high in international market, I think doesn't stand to any logic at all. Sneha.
Be with us, Rajesh. India today is the last team standing in war zone Ukraine. Gaurav Sawant spoke exclusively to snipers of the Ukraine army on day 37 of the conflict, and they say Russians have retreated from all around Kyiv. We are keeping a close eye on the developments ground zero.